Hi, welcome to Dreaming of Chess Mastery. I'm Neil Pruce, and this is my YouTube channel that delves into the world of adult chess improvement. Of course, no chessboards in sight. I'm filming out in the garden, my residence in the northeast of Brazil. If you're looking for more move-driven content, well, you know where to find it. This channel focuses on philosophy, psychology, pedagogy, learning strategies, all that good stuff. No boards in sight. So here goes. This week I thought I'd talk about what is one of the hot topics in any discussion amongst us, the adult chess improver community. Chess ratings. And, well, we love them. And as much as we say that it's all about the journey, it's all about learning to enjoy the process, we know that deep down in our heart of hearts, we want to see our rating soar. I mean, engaging with and learning to love the process is, of course, what it's all about as an adult chess improver, as a lifelong learner. I was watching this week Ben Johnson's wonderful Perpetual Chess podcast. He has from time to time, he has an interview with an adult chess improver. On this occasion, it was Oscar Mills. It goes by the name online of Chess Von Doom or something like that. And he's a 1300 adult chess improver who came to chess by way of the Queen's Gambit and just fell in love with the game. And he was talking about the difficulties he had of avoiding going down the rabbit hole of self-destructive blitz sessions, I guess we could put it that way. And he came to the conclusion with a lot of the difficulties he had, thinking about the difficulties he had following a training program, then it comes down to learning to love the process. And that's pretty good advice. So if you're still with me and you tune out here, learn to love the process, enjoy your training, make it fun. But what is the problem with chess ratings? To me, it is that we fixate on something that is, it is a good measure, but it's a long-term measure. If you want to know whether you've improved, you need to compare your rating maybe at the beginning of the year with your rating 1 or 2 years later, after you've actually done a long committed dive into some sort of training regime. And I think if you're doing that and playing lots of games and reviewing them and so forth, well, the chances are you will make some progress. I believe you will. In the short term, however, we are loss-averse creatures. Somewhere hardwired into the amygdala or something like that. I'm not a brain scientist. There is a primal drive that makes us more loss-averse than we are joyful about our gains. And there's research, I think Daniel Kahneman talks about it in Thinking Fast and Slow. It might be there, it might not. These sort of social science experiments where they find that people are much more motivated by avoiding losing $100 than they are by gaining $100. So our losses sting. We make a blunder and shed 10 points on our rapid rating, and they're dark days indeed. I want to throw my computer out the window. How could I be so stupid? And I take it entirely out of proportion. And it spirals out from there. I play daily chess. That is one of my And I played correspondence chess actually back in the day when I was a kid in school, believe it or not. I lacked opponents. I thought that might be good practice. And now daily chess is a good way of having playing solid training games. But I am faced with enormous psychological wrestling matches when I play against vastly lower rated players. In general, I avoid it. But recently, I found myself, I don't know why I clicked on it, but I found myself entering an online tournament. And I'd forgotten, because I've done this once before, that what it would mean is I would be placed in a group and I'd be playing people who were 700 points below me. And it's hard. And partly it's hard because in my sort of distant memory of chess, and I'm going to sort of mention some numbers, whatever they might mean. My South African chess rating was just shy, a peak rating of 1998 in South Africa, which I suppose we used to find at the time probably was reasonably close to FIDE rating, except FIDE ratings when I was a kid and at university started at 2200. At any rate, I was in that sort of strengths bracket, and when I played 1400s, they were just cannon fodder. As long as you didn't make a truly egregious blunder, you would win the game. They would do something terrible, get a totally strategically lost position, and then blunder. That's not the case anymore. I'm playing in this tournament, as I say, against a guy who's 15-something, and I'm playing in the one game Makoganov, white side of Makoganov, King's Indian, and he rattled off loads and loads of theory. Well, of course he did. It's daily chess. He's using an opening explorer. I am too. That's why I know it's all theory. It's all been played by Radjabov and others. But it makes it very frustrating. And we've left the theory. We've left the territory of search engines. And I don't, by the way, want to suggest that I think my opponent is cheating. I have no reason to think that. And I suspect the fact that he left the theory first means that maybe he made a mistake, but I'm not sure why. It's a really difficult game. It's certainly not going to be an easy give me the point sort of game. I did a bit of research because, well, I confess there's always that sort of paranoia. And I couldn't make it out. Kind of, how could he have a 2000 online blitz rating and be below 1600 in daily chess? That didn't make sense to me. And then I dug a bit deeper, and he's just had a horrendous run of losing games on time, which can happen in daily chess. And if you're a free member, well, you don't get vacation time. So he's not a 1600. And at that point, I should be happy because I'm getting a good game. And the reason I'm playing daily chess is to learn opening theory in a real competitive context and to practice calculation and analysis. And I'm going to get that in this game. So why aren't I happy? Because I just keep on thinking that if it goes wrong and I lose those rating points, well, then where will I be? Well, where I am now, the same me. It will make literally no difference to my life. But it plays on my mind. There's a little fear creeping into me. I can sense a sort of indecision in this game, that I'm trying to avoid making a mistake because I'm playing the rating. I'm not playing the position. I mean, I'm trying to play the position. I'm trying to think about it carefully. It's daily chess. I can do a meditation exercise. But as much as I try, I know it's playing on my mind. And in fact, the conclusion I've reached is that is why I'm playing these games. I am going to learn before I finally end up playing over the board chess. I hope I'm going to learn to be, now what would the adjective be, or the word to describe someone? Rating blind. I'd like to just play games as games, just play the position. And hopefully this game will teach me to do that. I think as much as we try and avoid this sort of dwelling on ratings, we can't help it, because as an adult chess improver, ratings are a fantastic indicator of progress. There's no denying that. And our sort of North Star dream goal that orientates what we're doing. In my case, I'm dreaming of chess mastery. Maybe just a little first rung on the master ladder, national master, 2100 FIDE, let's call it that. That's my dream. I suppose that's fair enough. It's not an impossible goal. I've beaten people of that strength before. Who knows, maybe I can do it. And I'm giving myself plenty of time. If for no other reason than the first feasible date for playing over the board tournaments is more than a year off into the future. So online chess is just a learning ground. But I think I need to do more in terms of this, developing the right sort of mindset in terms of embracing, loving the process. And I think that's where setting goals that are non-success driven and are just tied into the process, well, that's where that comes in handy. I've spoken about this before. Chessable has a fantastic feature amongst its many fantastic features, which is a leaderboard. So irrespective of how you're performing, the experience points that you gain when you're working through a course are measurable. So you can set yourself little targets to try and provoke yourself to work harder. And at the beginning, it's a bit of a cheap trick. But I certainly found when I was working through Helston's Endgame Strategy, Mastering Endgame Strategy course, which is a beast of a course, 1,100 variations. As I moved up that leaderboard, wrote comments and asked questions, got replies, actually started to engage with a few of the other members of the Chessable community that had seriously worked at Helston's masterpiece, which it is. It was very motivating. And I think that is something that perhaps is a thing that we can all do. And we can do it at whatever level we find ourselves on. And it is measurable. It's one metric that you can track. If you're using something like Chessable. But let's put it into a different context. Imagine that you work from books, and in terms of a concrete metric, you're relying on your rating and the games that you're analysing. Well, perhaps a thing to start measuring is how many mistakes you're making and how many brilliancies you're achieving or good moves you're finding, and keep a log. And both of them are good. If you record a mistake, view it as a lesson learned. And as the mistakes pile up and you categorize them and you complete a mistake log, develop a sense of satisfaction, whilst at the same time doing something for the good moves that you're finding. And if you kind of invest a little bit of time and energy in those sorts of metrics, perhaps that will be a way of gamifying and habituating, I don't know if that's a word, the right word, the process. So perhaps that could be a way of undermining your over analysis, your obsession with the chess rating. Anyway, that's it for this week. I hope that made some sort of coherent sense. If it didn't, let me know. If it did, likewise, what do you think? Always love the comments. So I'd love to hear from you. And until next week, from sunny Brazil,